Hello, everyone. This is Silas and Jen, and they are of the Riverkeeper organization. Is that the best way to describe what is?
Yeah, so our organization is Matanzas Riverkeeper. We are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to protecting the health of the Guantanamo-Matanzas estuary through advocacy, education, and community engagement. And so our work includes everything from working on bills during the legislative session, trying to support bills that are going to enhance clean water and fight bills that are going to degrade water quality. We do environmental education for children and adults. And then we also do community outreach, trying to get people out on the water to experience our estuary and fall in love with it.
Nice. On the litter getter.
Yep, on the litter getter.
So I met Silas through doing the Pachacachal presentations, and that was something that struck everybody in the audience, everybody that spoke. The litter getter is the boat that toots around. And then you guys had a series of oyster roasts to raise money for a truck to tote the litter getter around, and you did it. So that's a huge celebration. Silas, tell us a little bit about specifically what you do, projects you man.
Yeah, so as a program director, I overlook the litter getter program. So I'm a Coast Guard certified captain. So go out and take volunteer groups out on the estuary to do cleanups. Kind of all of our volunteer engagement comes through me. You'll see me out in the community at our tabling events doing cleanups and such. And then also I'm a scientist by training, so we do some water quality testing within the estuary as well.
Nice. And then Jen, what kind of things do you head up?
So I'm an attorney by training, so I oversee a lot of the policy work that we do. So the legislative session is getting started, and so there are a lot of bills that are being filed, and so I do analysis of those bills. Sometimes we will draft amendment language and try and get people to reach out to their state officials and get them to vote one way or the other on the bills.
Okay, so that's really why we're here, and that's
fantastic.
A perfect segue. So the reason I guess we got so passionately connected was because I saw the way St. Augustine moved for the state parks to protect that and the Raga Surf Cafe. So they're really big in preserving the natural spaces for community gatherings. But it takes a lot of effort. I mean, yes, it's good to stand up and fight when things are really going south, but what can we do little bits every day? So you guys are doing the groundwork to make sure that we have our parks, all the things that we want to go climb trees when we need to climb trees. And so what has that process looked like really from the start to finish? And I think it probably goes back further than just last year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, one of the issues with working on environmental campaigns is that sometimes there's a lot of gray area. It's very nuanced. It can be very science intensive, and it's hard for people to wrap their heads around exactly what's happening. And for better or for worse, when the state parks debacle happened last summer, it was just so black and white and so egregious that everyone was able to rally around it. Everybody got fired up. So if y'all remember last summer, there was a proposal that kind of came out of left field that would have allowed for the development of amenities that just don't belong in state parks, in 9 state parks across Florida. That includes things like pickleball courts, golf courses, hotels, things that just really don't align with the conservation and recreation values that our state parks are meant to protect. And luckily, thousands of people came out in opposition to press conferences and rallies and got the proposal backburnered in a really big way. And so that was fantastic. We were so happy to see that groundswell of community support, but the kind of moral of the story was, well, what's to stop this from happening again? Yes. How do we make sure that another sneaky proposal doesn't kind of try and slip its way through? Yes. And so this year there is a bill that has been filed. It is Senate Bill 80 and House Bill 209, and it's attempting to try and get out ahead of something like this happening again. It is definitely a step in the right direction, but at this point, we feel very strongly that the language needs to be tightened up. It can be stronger. It can be more protective of our state parks. We want there to be a list of things that are explicitly prohibited that says thou shalt not do these things in our state parks. Not we would prefer that you didn't do these things in our state parks.
Okay. Is that kind of where it's worded now?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. They're more of guidelines than explicit prohibitions, and we want explicit prohibitions. Yeah. And so at this point, both of the bills have been scheduled for the committee hearings, And what we are asking people to do is to reach out to the bill sponsors and try and get those amendments incorporated into the bill. And then hopefully later on down the line, we will be able to ask folks to reach out to the legislators that sit on those committees and ask them to support the bill once it has that strong language.
Okay. Is there a timeline on this? Like, are there milestones? Because I know this can be kind of like something that's hard to nail down and give people a final date.
Yeah, well, so I'm not sure when this is going to be airing, but the legislative session starts March 4th.
March 4th.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
I can get on it. Okay.
And so the first committee hearing for the House bill is tomorrow afternoon, but generally bills will go through 3 committee stops in the legislative process. So there is still opportunity after that to amend the bill language in subsequent committees.
Okay. What can we do tomorrow and the next couple of days or within that span of time to help as the process gets going?
Yeah, we want people to contact the bill sponsors. Generally, the bill sponsors are in the best position to make amendments to a bill. We have already sent them an extensive memo that says what exact language we would like them to change. Now we just need support from people telling them, hey, thank you for filing this. It's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
It can be better.
Okay. Is that on your website or is there an email? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if you go to our website, it's matanzasriverkeeper.org. On the homepage there, it says protect our parks. And if you click on that, that'll take you to a landing page. It's already got all of the bill sponsors' email addresses entered into there.
Beautiful.
And then it's got talking points that people can kind of use as a guideline for what to write.
Okay, perfect. That is excellent. That is excellent. I will link that in the description.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And then I also want to talk about some of the ramifications of that occurring. So if we aren't able to put enough out there and protect the parks, what does that do to our natural environment?
Yeah, kind of where my mind goes is the habitat loss. Kind of the big rallying cry that I've come up with is just habitat, not hotels.
Yeah,
so
wow.
These designated spaces are some of the only remaining spaces for Florida scrub jay, for our gopher tortoises, for these different critically important wildlife species. And so developing those areas, it's not like we're going to be able to go back after the fact and change that. So once it's changed, it's changed forever.
Wow. How do we break those things down and kind of help with the process of slowing the progression in a way that allows us to protect?
I mean, that's a really difficult question because it's such a nuanced issue. I mean, development is one of the main industries in the state of Florida as far as an economic driver goes. But I think that there's a lot of work to be done in understanding what is being lost when land is being converted to more intense land uses. So natural land provides all of these ecosystem services. In addition to habitat, if you've got wetlands, so swamps, marshes, things like that, those are essentially the kidneys of our landscape. They trap and filter out pollutants. They store floodwater during hurricanes. And so as we start to lose acreage of those different types of landscape, we lose all of those ecosystem services that they used to provide. And so that will result in things like some devastating flooding that we've seen during recent hurricanes. It'll result in things like increasing nutrient pollution levels, which we're seeing rampant statewide. And so figuring out how to balance the value of development as an economic driver with the value of natural landscape is really important.
Yeah. So on that note, sliding into what kind of things do you guys do in the community that people can show up for? Because I know that's what you guys are doing, is working to maintain these roots and the system that brings us nourishment so that we can progress. What are some things that people can be doing, one, with you guys and getting involved with you guys, but also just at home and not even having to show up to events, but doing stuff at home to make sure that it stays planted?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. So one thing that we're encouraging folks to do right now is sign up for our advocacy action alerts. So if you go to our website, under the volunteer page, you can literally click, I want to be an advocacy action volunteer. And so every time we need emails or phone calls for a committee hearing on a bill, whether it's a good bill or a bad bill, we will send you an email and let you know, hey, the time is nigh. Please contact our legislators about this.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then the port program is also a really good one.
Yeah, so we've got a pollution observation and reporting tool program. So if you see something out on the estuary or within our watershed that looks suspicious, something that just doesn't seem right, you can reach out to us and then we can further investigate.
Nice. So what kind of things would be suspicious?
Yeah, so development activities. So
Okay,
sometimes,
okay.
you know, development that are happening adjacent to wetlands and kind of the management practices that they need to do to make sure that they're not adversely impacting our estuary.
Okay.
Pollution, so like even just litter reports. So maybe not one or two pieces of trash. Hopefully you'll be able
Pick
to
'em up.
pick that up yourself. But
Like illegal
large
dumping,
dumping
like
sites.
tires,
Yep,
appliances,
exactly.
things
Right.
like that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And then I think that you guys do stuff with the algae as well. Is that part of the reporting process?
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you see algae blooms or fish kills that look suspicious, we'd love to see those, and kind of don't love to see them, but
Yeah,
would
yeah,
like to
yeah.
see them.
We
and
like to
see-
know when they're happening.
Do
Yes,
something about it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because like when you see algae blooms happening in the estuary, that is oftentimes an indication that there's something wrong with the water quality, that there are
Oh.
excess nutrients, so too much
Okay.
nitrogen and phosphorus in the water. And
Okay.
so it causes, like the same way you fertilize your yard, when you get too many nutrients in a waterway, it causes these algal blooms where it just grows
Okay.
out of control.
Uh-huh.
And then what often happens is you enter into this cycle where the algae blooms, grows, dies, decays, and it can actually start to use up all of the oxygen in the water.
Oh,
And
no.
that can cause
Oh,
fish
no.
kills because
Yeah.
the fish need oxygen to
Yeah.
survive and to breathe.
Right.
And so once you start to see the oxygen declines, those hypoxic conditions,
Uh-huh.
that can have some really devastating impacts. And
Yeah.
so if folks ever see algal blooms, we appreciate
Yeah.
if they let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, cool. Those are really good steps. And then yeah, I think maybe one takeaway. I love the system that you guys have. Like you have a really easy system that's like fluid for
Oh, thank you.
and efficient for reporting. And to be able like to
Thank you.
alert at the important times is like
Mhm.
really key for getting people to get stuff done. So that is awesome. And that makes it convenient for like people to actually do something, you know,
Yeah.
and feel like their efforts make a difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and Silas gets the credit for developing that tool.
Cool.
It's very user friendly. It alerts us
Nice.
immediately. We automatically get a message in our inbox letting us know that there's a problem. And honestly, a lot of times people will see things when they're out on the water boating or fishing or kayaking, and they usually think, well, okay, that doesn't look right. If there's a pipe that is discharging something that looks oily,
yeah.
or if somebody is filling in a wetland, people might think, oh, that doesn't look great, but I don't know what to do with that information. Who do I contact? The city, the county, the Department of
Okay.
Environmental Protection?
yes.
Who am I supposed to alert? And so in those situations, folks can just reach out to us, and we
Perfect.
know the proper
Yes.
channels to follow to make sure that the appropriate
Beautiful.
agency can come out and do
Beautiful.
enforcement if it's needed.
It's beautiful. Support these beautiful people. Please, please.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yes, that is awesome. You guys are so multi-talented, and I appreciate you guys so much. Is there
thank you.
anything that you would like to end on, or maybe put an exclamation point by before we close it out?
I mean, legislative session starts tomorrow. It's
Yes.
always really
Urgent.
busy. Bills
Yes.
are filed, they change, some die, some progress. And so we're going to be running around really, really busy
Okay.
for the next couple of months. And so just having folks active and engaged is going to be really helpful for us.
Perfect. Cool. You got anything?
Yeah, so just stay tuned. Follow along on our social platforms. We're on
Yes.
Facebook and Instagram,
Okay.
as well as on our website, matanzasriverkeeper.org. You can either sign up to get our newsletter, sign up to be a volunteer.
You can
Yeah.
ride the litigator.
Yeah. So we'll keep
Ooh.
you informed and keep you engaged.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys for watching. Go to the website and fill out the emails that are basically already filled out for you, and then write a love letter to the natural environment of Florida, and tell the people why it needs to stay the way it needs to stay, because it is such a beautiful land, and home to so many things, and me, myself included, and I've enjoyed that. So